which he subsequently did between 1967 and 1980. He actually won the Baja with this car in 1969. It uses a Falconer small block Chevy V8 and an Allison automatic transmission with an Allison transfer case powering all four wheels. You can imagine flying through the Baja desert at 100 miles an hour plus in this vehicle. You get some idea how crazy a ride that must have been. So thank you, Jim. Special treat. Following up, we go pretty much in the opposite direction here when it comes to automobiles. We have a 1976 Alpine Renault, brought to us by Robert and Renee Torrey of Bedford Hills, New York. Has been presented the award for the most outstanding French car on the show field today, and that award is brought to us today by Perrier. This is the Alpine A110 model 1300, built by Alpine, powered by a 1289cc Renault 4, rated at 81 horsepower. Don't be fooled. 81 horsepower, and this motor was turning 5,000 RPMs. It was screaming down the road. The Alpine won the World Rally Championship in 1971 and 1973. This particular car was recently imported from Germany, and it's painted a great version of French blue. It is absolutely correct factory colors on there. Fantastic, thank you. We're going to follow that up with a very closely related car. This is a 1973 Alpine Renault, brought to us today by Chris Robbins from Rybrook, New York. It is winning the award for the best competition car post-1965. This car was just restored in 2015, making its debut here today at the Greenwich Concours. Now what differs this from the other car, this has the bigger 1600 engine. The Alpines, which were built in 61 through 77, was designed by the great designer Giovanni Michelotti. Great sports cars. This car was rated at 140 horsepower. Remember, same engine, just bored out a bit. It was running at super high RPMs. It was capable of 136 miles per hour, which must have been a hell of a ride in that car. Thank you. From France, we're going to turn back to Italy for a moment here. We have a 1995 Ferrari 512M Coupe. This is bodied by Pininfarina. The car is owned by Glenn Simon from Manhasset, New York. Ferrari made only 75 of these for the U.S. market. This is number 69. The 512M was only built from 1994 to 1996. It's powered by Ferrari's flat V12, which was capable of 440 horsepower. Top speed on this sweetheart is 196 miles per hour. This car is not restored. What you're seeing here is absolutely as it left the factory. So thank you for bringing it out today.
Got it? Good.
We're really jumping around the globe here. We've been to France, we've been to Italy. Now we're going to go all the way to the other side of the world, and we're going to go to Japan. This is a 1978 Datsun 280Z. It's presented here today by Ann Fagan Charitable Trust of Charitable Foundation. It's making its debut today at the Greenwich Concours. This is the 280Z. No, it's not a Nissan. This is a Datsun. This is before the company changed its name in the U.S. They rebranded all the cars in 1981. This 280Z has 14,000 original miles. It's literally a new car underneath. These were very successful sellers for Datsun, and it's been presented the award today for the best international sports car on the field. Thank you for bringing it out. Coming up next is an unusual one. This is a 1980 Puma, brought to us today by Richard Klein and Walter Eisenstark from Yorktown Heights, New York. Pumas were made in Brazil. They were in business from 1966 to 1995. The car is powered by a 1600 four-cylinder opposed engine rated at 90 horsepower. And you're probably not going to see another one anytime soon. So thank you. So from South America, we're going to jump over to Great Britain. We have a 1953 Morgan. This is a +4 open sport two-seater. Brought to us by Mark Evans from Huntington, Connecticut. This was a very long production car. They ran them from they produced it from 1950 through 1969. The fun part here is that Mark Evans had two cars on the field today. And if you haven't figured it out, he's using one to tow the other. So the one in the back here is a 1960 Condor Formula Junior race car. This car was built to race in the FIA sanctioned International Formula Junior Series. This is number one of just 6 of these race cars built. It was designed and built by Ted Whiteaway, and the car was raced in England and brought here to the US in the late 1960s. So, Mark, thank you for bringing them both out, and I love the way you're doing this. This is great, thanks. That's a real sport. Behind that, we have a true iconic British example here. This is a 1958 Lotus Mark 7 Series 1 convertible. Owners are Doug Brown and Susan Seattle Brown from Tuxedo Park, New York. It's a very rare Lotus. Only 250 of these were built. This one is the most original one in existence. Note it is powered by the Ford side-valve engine, and you gotta love that whole polished aluminum body. That's just terrific. I'm sure you sweat every stone you hear on the road, though, right? Well, be careful going home. Thank you. We have a 1960 Lotus right here. This is brought to us by Ralph Stetchow. The car is winning the award, an award of excellence. It is an Elite Type 14. The Type 14 was built as an ultralight 2-seater coupe. The car features a fiberglass monocoque construction. It was designed with a very low coefficient of friction at only 0.29. That's rating up there with some of the most exotic cars today. Sweet looking car, very unusual. Thank you.
Imagine designing your very first car, and this is the car that you designed. This is a 1956 Austin Healey owned by Nigel Hart. It has won the award of excellence today. It is the famous Austin Healey 100M Roadster. Only 640 were built. It can go 100 miles an hour. That's why it's called a 100. It was also the first of the big Healeys after the Baja strike. Thank you so much for coming out today and sharing it with us. Lovely car. Staying on the other side of the pond, we're going to take a look now at a 1961 MG owned by Jonathan Mayer from Mamaroneck, New York. Well, that's easy for someone else to say. Anyway, making its debut here today, it's an